You know exactly what you're doing is wrong. You know it's going to cost you money, but for some reason, your finger clicks the mouse anyway. In the trading world, this is known as a disaster day. Under the extreme stress of financial loss, the brain's logical centers actually short-circuit. A biological panic response overrides every rational decision you are capable of making. Take Gautam Jha. He was a disciplined, self-taught trader who followed all the theoretical rules, yet still found himself trapped in this exact mental collapse. Mastering the stock market relies very little on outsmarting the numbers. The real game is surviving the psychological warfare of your own mind. Gautam grew up in a household where every rupee mattered. His father drove an auto rickshaw, and his mother walked 8 kilometers a day just to earn a meager salary. He hustled his way out of poverty by organizing a team to snipe limited edition mobile phones during online flash sales, reselling them to local shopkeepers for a steady profit. But reselling phones had a hard ceiling. To scale his income, he turned to the stock market. He read the books and absorbed every interview he could find from market legends like Paul Tudor Jones. He applied what he learned, using strict stop losses to automatically cut his trades the moment they dipped. For 6 months, this kept his account stable. However, surviving the shallow end of risk provides a false sense of security. Knowing the theory of a small loss provides no preparation for the crushing weight of deep water. Frustrated by his lack of rapid growth, Gautam decided to double his trade sizes. He pushed his financial exposure far past his actual comfort zone. When the first major loss hit, his brain completely rejected it. In his previous physical businesses, effort always equaled money. He had no experience accepting failure as a routine cost of doing business. This chart shows what happened next. Instead of taking the hit, he placed another trade to recover that money, then another, then another. Within hours, the numbers on his screen lost all meaning. The monetary value blurred into pure, paralyzing panic. The urge to keep trading was so overpowering that he had to physically leave his house and walk 2.5 kilometers away from his phone just to stop himself from pressing buy again. This cycle reveals the danger of prioritizing a high win rate. When a trader becomes addicted to being right 9 times out of 10, their ego becomes so rigid that a single, inevitable loss feels like a personal failure, triggering the very panic that destroys their account. Gautam quit trading for 2 months. When he finally reopened those same books, he realized professional trading is actually the science of engineering the scale of every loss. He adopted the risk-reward reversal. He would mathematically accept a string of tiny, controlled losses, specifically hunting for the one trade that would yield a massive, exponential payout. The theory was tested on a stock called Exide Industries. He set up a trade risking a microscopic 320 rupees, paired against an almost unthinkably high profit target. But this time, he removed his own brain from the process. He placed an automated bracket order, setting his exact loss and profit targets in the system, and then immediately walked away from the computer. He spent the next few hours at a local tea stall. By physically blinding himself to the live market fluctuations, he ensured his emotions could not interfere with the plan. When he returned, the massive target had hit. A sustainable market edge relies on automating the execution and physically separating the human ego from the live fluctuation of the numbers. Gautam had completely detached his ego from the need to be right. He shifted his entire focus to hunting setups where a single win could pay for 10 losses. The math of this strategy is flawless, yet the math alone is not what actually saved his psychological state. His ultimate anchor was entirely outside the market. Throughout this entire journey, he had kept his phone reselling business running. That continuous secondary income provided the stability he needed during losing streaks. This diagram shows the structural difference. A full-time trader relying on a single income pillar feels dread over a minor loss, but a trader with a side business remains insulated. This buffer eliminates the desperation that causes every disaster day. Trading is not a math problem you solve in a vacuum. To survive the psychological warfare of the stock market, you have to ensure your real-world survival doesn't depend on it.